My loser is the Los Angeles Lakers.
Even after LaRavia and Deandre Ayton.
Yeah, that's my.
They improved.
No, they didn't. They didn't. Losing DFS and then bringing in Jake, it's not an improvement.
Going
that's
from
not an upgrade.
DFS to LaRavia and Ayton is an improvement.
DFS is a more valuable player right now than DeAndre.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking Jake was the DFS replacement. That's what it was because they lost DFS. They brought in Jake. Jake, that's not an improvement. That is a downgrade. That is legit downgrade. Now, I will say going from Hayes to Ayton is definitely an improvement.
And they have Hayes too.
But at the same time, you needed a big that can anchor your defense all year. Deandre Ayton, I know you love him. It's weird that you love him.
I don't love DeAndre, and I just think he's getting underrated.
He's not.
He's
a
not
bottom
trash.
10. He's a bottom 10
He's not a
basketball.
His responsibility is to clear all the missed assignments and all of the poor lapses.
And to anchor a defense. He cannot do that.
That's not his assignment. That wasn't even Jackson Hayes' assignment when he was starting with the
Lakers. And that was the problem.
That's the issue. You lost DFS. He was the only capable to above average perimeter defender in your top 6.
Did Dorian Finney-Smith help the team at all rebounding the basketball?
How about
did he help the team?
He's guarding the best.
Ayton has not been a good rebounder. It's been years since Ayton's been a good rebounder. It's been a long
What do you mean?
What?
He just averaged a double-double.
A lot of centers can average 10
stop with the
rebounds
numbers. Enough.
Just because
with
you
them
average 10 rebounds.
Every number that would point to rebounding would show that DeAndre Ayton's a good rebounder.
DeAndre Ayton is a good rebounder.
I know. He just said he's not a good rebounder.
Oh.
That's why I'm rebuting.
Defensively?
What's up to him?
No. He has
What do you
been
mean?
For years. For years, he hasn't been a good defensive rebounder or rim protector.
Since last year, he's 10th in rebounding per game.
Crying at that.
Since he's entered the NBA, he's top 15 in rebounding per game total, offensive rebounding per game, and defensive rebound per game. His rebounding has not fallen off at all. He is still a 10 to 11 rebounding per game big man. Like, Dorian Finney-Smith did not help the Lakers at all neutralize Gobert when he went for 20 in a playoff game. Yeah, I don't care how bad y'all think DeAndre Ayton is. DeAndre Ayton would not let Gobert go for 20 and 20 in a playoff
27 and 22 is
like,
crazy.
what are we doing? Like, DeAndre Ayton...
Giannis did give 50
We're comparing a third-string center to, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Giannis became the third player last 50 years to 50 on his head in the finals. 3 players have done it. Him, LeBron, and MJ since Jerry West.
It's Giannis. It's Giannis. And a big reason why that 50 happened was because Dario Saric tore his ACL and Ayton was the only big man. When Ayton was not on the floor, it was Cam Johnson and Mikal Bridges and Jay Crowder trying to neutralize Giannis. Of course he was going to go off for 50. Now, that's a legendary performance, so I don't want to take anything away from that, but like, I just feel like...
Do you like advanced numbers?
Yes, I do. I just feel like we're overthinking the Ayton signing. He signed for $10 million per year. That is the best available center that the Lakers were going to get this offseason without having to trade anything. It's better than giving up a first for Nick Claxton. And the biggest weakness on the team was that they didn't have a center and they could not rebound the basketball.
That can anchor a defense. DeAndre Ayton
was that the only problem?
They don't need more offense. They don't need more offense. They don't need more offense. They do not need more
the only problem?
offense. They can't rebound. Yes, Ayton fills that.
Okay.
Ayton fills that. Now here's the anchoring problem. Who can guard on the perimeter for the Lakers right now? Answer that. Just answer that question.
It's probably LeBron. It's probably LeBron.
And Braun is better right now as a help defender, correct?
Yeah.
And Vando can't play 25 minutes.
I feel as if the Lakers' defensive scheme, even last year, even before DFS got there, their defensive scheme was always about leaving the most vulnerable shooter wide open.
Yes.
And they would just help on gaps. DeAndre Ayton with the Blazers, he didn't play good defensively this past season because they had him in a deep drop. And that was more so a scheme that fit Donovan Klingen's skill set. I think that DeAndre Ayton, he does a good job at not letting centers get behind him for easy lobs. So I think that's where he's going to help defensively. I don't think DeAndre Ayton is a great defender. I think he's an all right defender. I think he's a better option than anybody that they could have gotten. That was a realistic option.
I don't disagree with that. It doesn't mean he's going to solve their problem.
But this is why I can't say they're losers, though, because the biggest need was center, and they got a capable center.
Not just center.
You lost your one two-way player.
Why are we overrating Dorian Finney-Smith?
He's a 40% three-point shooter.
Oh, wow.
41%.
You lost DFS. You're losers of the offseason.
You're overrating DeAndre Ayton.
No, I just think LaRavia and DeAndre Ayton cancel out any loss at DFS.
LaRavia? Dude, did you even... LaRavia?
LaRavia shot 38%.
He took 3 attempts.
He shot 40%.
He took 3 attempts. He took 3
He's
attempts.
a good player.
He took 3
He's
attempts.
not a bad player.
He took 3 attempts.
Okay, still, but he still shot well. Would you rather him take 3 attempts and shoot bad or shoot well?
When you take less attempts, the shooting variance is a lot more.
It looks funky as hell. If I take 3 attempts,
but he shot well this past season. And
yeah,
Dorian Finney-Smith, and also I want to say Dorian Finney-Smith, if you look at his career 3-point percentage, it fluctuates a lot year to year.
When he's playing with Luka, it's the best he's going to shoot. It's a perfect fit between the two of them. And
he played with Luka in 2018, 2019, 2020. He didn't shoot well from
He's also gotten better as a shooter since then. Players develop in time. I do think you made a good point before. Saying Ayton's a bad defender was strong on my end. I'll take that back. That being said, when he was on the floor, the Blazers' defensive rebounding was not very good. It ranked in the 34th percentile per clean the glass. I feel that what I'm trying to get at with that point is that he's not a difference maker inside the paint as a rim protector or a rebounder.
I would argue he's a difference maker if your starting center is Jackson Hayes or Jared Vanderbilt.
It's a big improvement, but it's still not good.
No, it's a big improvement. And listen, with what the Lakers had, the lack of flexibility they had this offseason, there wasn't really much avenues. DeAndre Ayton was the best possible option. I'm looking at these are the 3 issues that I think the Lakers had this past season. I'm going to start with offensively. I think offensively, their offense wasn't the best. And the reason for that is because they didn't have a center that could finish around the rim, that could catch lobs consistently. Jackson Hayes didn't provide that. And they didn't have a center that can provide any sort of threat from the outside. DeAndre Ayton is, even last year in the down season with the Blazers, 81st percentile finishing around the rim, above 70%. He was a 70 percentile mid-range shooter. In terms of players since 2021 that have taken 1,000 shots at the rim, there's only been 87. DeAndre Ayton converts 77% of his attempts at the rim. He took 1,000 since 2021.
That's a 5-year sample.
He took 2 attempts. Okay,
but I'm saying he took DeAndre Ayton 1,000 rim attempts since 2021.
That sounds like a lot.
Let me finish, John. 1,000 rim attempts since 2021. Only 87 players in the league have done that since that time frame. DeAndre Ayton was the 3rd most efficient. No, it's 1,000 rim attempts. It's a volume
over a 5-year sample.
2022, he took 6 attempts. 2023, 6 attempts. 2024, 6 attempts. Last year was only 4 attempts and 2.
Why did it go from 6 to 4? It went from 6.
The number's greater than 6.
We're talking about short mid, right?
The number's greater.
We're talking about rim attempts right now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We're talking about rim attempts.
Are you looking at frequency?
No, I'm just looking at short rim attempts.
So
at the rim, it was 8 attempts, 6 attempts.
This is what I'm getting at. Since 2021, 58% on hook shots, 51% on short mid-range jumpers, 1,400 attempts in that time frame, 47% on long mid-range jumpers. So DeAndre Ayton is a threat as a pick and pop player, because he is not somebody that's going to enforce his will and be overly physical. That's not his game. He doesn't get to the line at all. But he does shoot the short mid-range shot well. He does shoot the long mid-range shot very well. His touch for his size, not a lot of players have that in the league right now. And he's going to be a major pick and pop threat. And he's going to provide spacing for the Lakers offense. Then you look at, he's finished at the rim 76%, 1,000 shots. Only 87 players have done so since 2021. He ranks 3rd in efficiency. This is a lob threat. Last season, he had the same dunks made per game number as Anthony Davis. And this past season, 81st percentile. But I'm just saying, dunks made per game, AD and Ayton had the same number last year.
He missed a lot of games last
year. But
it's
not about volume. It's about per game. It's a per game stat. Okay. This past season, Ayton, even in a down year, 81st percentile at the rim, 78th percentile short mid-range, 71st percentile long mid-range. So he does elevate their offense. He's a pick and roll threat, a lob threat, a great finisher around the rim. He's also a pick and pop threat. He's a great mid-range shooter, especially for his size. That's a rarity that you're going to find. He spaces the floor. And since 2018, since he's entered the NBA, 12th in rebounding per game, 14th in offensive rebounding per game, and 12th in defensive rebound per game. And this past season, his rim defense, player shot minus 5.1% worse on shots within 6 feet when Ayton was the primary defender. Did the Lakers have a rim threat last season? No. Did the Lakers have a mid-range threat at center last season? No. Did the Lakers have a great rebounder last season? No. They all have that now. And I feel like that's an improvement. So I'm looking at where they improved that, and they did improve. I think that defense wasn't the only thing they needed. They needed a center that can catch lobs and play with Luka, and they needed somebody that can rebound the basketball, and he provides both those things.
Yeah. You're drinking the Ayton Kool-Aid. I personally will not be doing that.
You don't have to.
I think
he's good. He's a good player.
Deandre Ayton is not going to be able to anchor that defense. That defense is going to be pretty atrocious. Offensively, I don't have an issue with them offensively. I think offensively they're going to be fine. They have Luka and LeBron and AR on the team.
Who would have anchored their defense that was a realistic option that they could have gotten?
Probably nobody.
That's
why they were never.
Was maybe Daniel Gafford.
That's why they were never going to be able to fix this issue. That's why no center was going to make this a winning move. Like to go from Hayes to Ayton, yes, upgrade. I'm not going to disagree with you. Hayes is a third string center. It's an immediate upgrade.
You think Ayton is trash?
To go from the 88th best center in basketball to like the 40th. 40th doesn't move me.
Ayton is the 40th.
No, I'm obviously exaggerating the numbers. I'm exaggerating the numbers. Obviously.
How many centers you think are better than him?
Probably
over 15.
It's a lot. We can go down the list.
Do you think Ayton is trash?
I wouldn't say he's trash.
Trash is so
strong. Career.
Like Hayes is trash.
I look at his career and
the way you're explaining him. Do you think he's a trash starting center?
No, he's not trash.
Let's see.
Let's say that. I look at Ayton. I think he's average. And I think he's a lot of wasted potential when I look at his career.
But if you did not look at him based off the expectation of what he should have been, and just measure on what he is, he's a solid player. And it's an upgrade over what the Lakers had. I think that's it. I'd rather have a center than have DFS if I'm the Lakers. Absolutely, I would.
I mean, yeah, you're just going to funnel everybody to Ayton. God bless.
A negative in the defensive end.
They was getting past Finney-Smith. We acting like Finney-Smith was a lockdown defender. He's serviceable, but he's not clamping nobody. He's not Herb Jones.
Yes.
Well, I mean,
they already had a gaping hole on the perimeter. Then they lost their best perimeter defender, which makes a gaping hole catastrophic.
Okay, but they had no threat at the rim at center, and now they have a legit pick and pop and pick and roll partner. And the more stress you can put on a team, I feel like the better you are.
This reminds me a lot of when you were hyping up Christian Wood to the Mavericks in 2020.
Yo, no cap. I just counted like 22 centers better than him.
And then
you think Mitchell Robinson's better than him?
And it ends up not being a difference.
Probably more valuable.
That's what this
Christian Wood.
That's what this feels
Christian
like.
Wood
he averaged 20 and 10 for a small
Christian Wood is not DeAndre.
He gave him a pick and pop threat, a play finishing of Luka. What happened? It never worked in the Mavericks. They didn't have
Christian Wood is not DeAndre Ayton.
It didn't work in the Mavericks.
Who is DeAndre Ayton?
DeAndre Ayton.
It wasn't until the next year when they drafted Lively and they acquired Gafford that they then went from a 30-plus win team or 30-some-odd win team to then go in the NBA Finals. That wasn't the style of a center they need to pair with Luka Doncic.
Christian Wood is 6'9", number one. Ayton is a true 7-footer.
He doesn't play like he's 7 foot. He plays like he's 6'9" too.
Ayton's 7 feet? No. Are we lying? Wait a minute. No. He ain't no 7 feet.
Yes, 6'11", 7 feet. It's the same thing.
And he doesn't play like you.
Okay.
Really?
John.
Has Christian Wood, like it. You would never notice that.
Has Christian Wood, when he signed with the Dallas Mavericks, did he ever have a playoff run where he showcased he was one of the 6 best centers in basketball?
Well, 6 what?
Christian, wait,
at that time?
Yo, you're a liar.
At that time, DeAndre Ayton was different.
He was top 10.
He just said top 6 center in basketball.
But the gap between 6 and 10 was very narrow.
We were talking about.
I'm not going to harp on
bro,
that.
Bro, AD was a center at that point.
You make a valid
point. Has Christian Wood ever shown that at all?
Has Christian Wood ever played a Chris Paul? Top 5 point guard of all time?
I don't give a shit if he played with Chris Paul. That was not going to happen.
Chris Paul is one of the premier point guards.
Christian Wood played with Luka.
At resurrecting the career.
Bro went from top 6 to bottom 10.
Are we serious?
That's CP3.
If Christian Wood replaced DeAndre in that playoff run, they would still make the NBA Finals?
I disagree.
So don't compare Ayton and Christian Wood and act like Christian Wood with Chris Paul would have did that.
I'm comparing the hype that you gave to Christian Wood, where you said some
strong
things. The Mavericks proceeded to miss the playoffs.
You're using a false equivalency. That's what you're using.
That's Luka. No, that is. It's not because
it's a false equivalency. Just because I was high on. Let me finish, John. Just because I was high on Christian Wood going to the Mavericks doesn't take away the analysis on why Ayton improves the Lakers right now. But you just called him a bad rebounder, and that's blatantly wrong.
DeAndre Ayton was very high in fouls caused in the league. He was a 70th percentile. So he's a hack. That's what that means.
DeAndre Ayton, his 2 best efficient seasons in the NBA were with Chris Paul before he had regressed. Because we know Chris Paul in his second year with the Suns, when they won 65 games and lost to the Mavericks, when he turned 35, that's when he rapidly regressed. And the next year, Ayton still finished 61% true shooting percentage, which was efficient, but it dropped off from 65%. When Chris Paul was still, I guess, a very good player, Ayton finished both those seasons 65% true shooting. He's playing with Luka and LeBron James, dude. Like, he's going to get back to 60 plus % true shooting, 65% true shooting.
Dope, man.
What do you mean
years.
it's dope?
That's
LeBron
dope.
and Luka make their teammates better.
I'm saying that's
why
dope.
are we acting like DeAndre is trash?
It's going to be 5 years since that Suns playoff run in 2021. Now, first off, I want to address one
And what
thing.
can
I want to address one
John,
thing.
it's been 5 years since that point.
First off,
It's been 5 years since that point.
it's been a minute.
DeAndre Ayton, since that point, has he declined athletically?
A little bit.
Has any of his skill sets declined?
I'll say his motor got worse.
His motor definitely got worse. Watching him now versus that 2021 run, I'd say he's less athletic now, less bounce.
I think you can argue that just because he's had some knee tendonitis issues, but since that run to now, we're not talking about a player who went from 29 years old to now he's like 35. He's still very much a young player. He's a very athletic player as well. He's a very athletic player as well. With 27, he's still in his athletic prime. You watch and he's still an athletic player.
He's also a man whose motor has gotten progressively worse as he gets older.
Okay, and you don't think that with him having a 2-year deal with the second year being a player option, he is not going to be motivated to get another contract in the league?
They went to the finals and his motor didn't get better.
They went to the finals and he got paid.
He's had a motor issue since he was at Arizona.
He went to the finals and he got paid.
Yeah, yes, I understand that.
And that's why I declined.
But he went to the finals.
But
dude.
now,
if that doesn't up your motor, I don't know what can.
Well, if his goal was to get paid and that's all it was, then there's a reason why his motor would decline.
We should not expect anything at this point.
No, but now he's up for, he has to play well to get a lucrative deal next offseason.
I mean, he had to play well this year to get a lucrative deal.
Not really. He had $35 million on the book still.
Yeah, but he still knew his contract was coming up.
Yeah, but we didn't get the chance to see him play because he got bought out. And now he's on the Lakers.
I'm talking about last year. Next year would have been his last deal. His last year on a contract, correct?
This upcoming year.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So he could have been due for an extension this offseason, which means last season he knew that this upcoming offseason he could have got paid more if he played at a high level.
Well, last season he knew that the team drafted a center in the top 10.
For sure.
That they clearly shifted their entire defensive philosophy towards too. And Donovan Clingan was there. And then in the draft, they also drafted another center and they had Rob Will there. So I think that.
Oh, you talking about
I think that DeAndre Ayton, this year, him being on an expiring deal because he has a player option and he wants to get paid. Yeah, I think we're going to see a more motivated DeAndre Ayton. And even even a DeAndre Ayton with the motor issues, on average, he's giving you very good production and much better production than anything the Lakers would have got anywhere else.
Production is production.
Yeah. I do want to apologize.
Yeah, it is.
Production doesn't mean you're being a positive, valuable player.
I agree with
Cam Thomas has production. Colin Sexton has production.
There's only been one season.
Colin Sexton has production.
There's only been one season in Ant's career where the production didn't impact winning.
I'm looking at it. It's like it's 2.
Well,
it's been since
last season he had
2025, 2024. He was a negative.
His first season in Portland, he actually had a good point differential. It was positive point differential. It was one of the better ones on the team.
I do want to say one thing. First off,
who's on that Portland team?
Ayton, I want to give you credit. Ayton is a solid rebounder.
I know.
Now, I want to say 2 different things here that my mind's stuck on. I would agree with you in the sense that Ayton gives you a pick and pop element and a play finishing element. And with Luka Doncic, those are the 2 things that Christian Wood brought at an above average level in that 2023 season. And ironically, I feel like they have the same exact issues. Though Ayton is a better player, I would agree with you. You made a point that he kind of addresses this rebounding concern. When you look at Ayton's 5 years for the Suns, his rookie year, they're the 30th ranked rebounding team. His second season in 2020, they're the 23rd ranked rebounding team. In that finals run, they're the 21st ranked rebounding team. Then in 2021, they signed JaVale McGee. And I remember back then, you and I having conversations, the Suns were better with McGee on the floor.
They had better plus,
Ayton.
yeah.
And there was a lot of hyperbole used, but there was a point where there was even suggested that they were a better team with JaVale McGee in his 30s over DeAndre Ayton and the theoretical peak of his career. That was the only season they were outside. They were in the top half of rebounding. And then the following season, they were the 19th ranked rebounding team. So just one time were they a good rebounding team. And that was when they had JaVale McGee and Frank Kaminsky, a good third center in the mix. That's the only time.
Your argument is that he is not going to anchor rebounding rates to the top of the league.
I mean, they also don't have another big.
That's fair. In all those years with the Suns, could we agree that Ayton was the only great rebounder? Chris Paul is 6 foot. He provided some rebounding. Devin Booker has never been known as a prolific rebounder. Cam Johnson's not a prolific rebounder.
You said about the Lakers now, though.
And LeBron and Luka are prolific rebounders for their position.
Yeah, but like they're not like down there box out like except LeBron, obviously. Like,
and Luka.
Luka kind of but like he's gonna exert a shit ton of energy doing that.
But
shit.
Luka every year of his career averages 8 to 9 rebounds per game. LeBron's averaging 8 rebounds per game.
You're gonna have Ayton out there. You're gonna have like there's no backup for Ayton. Like legitimately no backup. And then on the wings is who are you gonna have on the wings?
Well, Jackson Hayes, I would say in the regular season is a solid backup. He played well last year in the regular season. In playoffs, I don't trust his rotations. I don't trust him to be in a rotation at all. But I'm saying those Suns teams, Cam Johnson, Mikal Bridges, Jay Crowder, Chris Paul, Devin Booker, and then before JaVale McGee got there, they had no backup center that was actually a good rebounder. The backup center was Dario Saric. They didn't have anybody to alleviate rebounding duty off of Ayton. So I don't think that Ayton alone can like anchor a rebounding unit.
Alleviate that though.
But I think that he can average like 5 rebounds per game. Like if I have Luka and LeBron,
he averages that as a starter.
If I have Luka and LeBron giving me 8 to 10 rebounds per game, and I have Ayton giving me 10 rebounds per game, that is already almost 30 rebounds per game I'm getting from 3 players.
Well, first of all, they were in total rebounds, they were 26th in the league.
The Lakers.
Yeah, defensive rebound, they were 20th. So you bring in Ayton, what does that jump up to 22? I
think it improves.
Yeah, but you're still a bottom 10 rebounding team, probably.
So for example, you use
this is with Wemby out for like a year.
So you use the totality of like the Suns ranking to showcase that Ayton doesn't anchor rebounding rates. Okay, that's fine. Last time I checked, Anthony Davis is a great to an elite rebounder, and the Lakers were still one of the worst rebounding teams in the league when he was playing. But they still finished towards the bottom of the league in ranking.
No. What is it, 2023, 2024, AD was on the team. Yes, he was. They were 18th. But they were 2 in defensive rebound. Their problem is they can't get any offensive rebound. They were 30th in offensive rebound. But in defensive rebound, they were number 2 ranked in the league. Let's go the year before.
And this past season, I don't know what the ranking was before the Luka trade.
But the year before that, 2nd in defensive rebound. So they've been with AD an elite defensive rebound.
So did you use defensive rebounds at all? Or it was total. Just, okay. So I don't know what the number is for defensive rebound is alone for Ayton. Maybe can you look at the Suns teams, the 2021 and 2022 teams to see where they rank defensive rebounding wise?
I got you, big bro.
And then we're going to see.
Show me
do 2021, 2022 first.
Okay.
What do you think about this, JC? Does Ayton improve the Lakers or do you agree with Riv that they're losers?
Here we go. Here we go. I love pulling them numbers so fast. So you mentioned 2021, 2022, I'll say all 3 numbers. Total rebounds, they were 10th in the league. Defensive rebounds, they were 5th. Offensive rebounds, 19th. So that was what's holding them back. Let's go to
and then the year before, because that's when they made the finals.
Yes, 2020, 2021. Here we go. All right. This was the problem. So total rebounds this year, 23rd. Defensive rebounds, they were 18th. Offensive rebounds, they were 28th. So the year they won the finals, they was not a good rebounding team.
And the year after, they added JaVale McGee.
Yeah,
that's the year
they were solid.
That year they added depth. So it makes sense. Like I think the Lakers are going to improve rebounding with Ayton.
They were an elite defensive rebounding team though the next year. Like defensive rebounding, they were elite.
Like I'm willing to bet that Ayton's going to improve the Lakers rebounding. Yeah, like I don't think that he's going to anchor their defense, but I think that he provides other positives on the team that they had, that they needed.
We see that.
And it's important.
In the state of this Western Conference, with how good it is, we just don't view that as enough for the Lakers to be a top seed.
But now it's debating whether or not they're going to be like a true contender or they're going to be, or they're losers.
All-season winners.
I think they're, I mean, I don't want to spoil it, but I mean, do you think the Lakers are outside the top 6?
In the West?
In the West?
Oh.
With these moves? Like, would you label them a loser of free agency?
No, I had a different team in mind. I thought the Lakers, I kind of agree with what Joel's saying. I think them getting LaRavia and Deandre Ayton, I mean, it has to be an upgrade. I mean, Jackson Hayes, you couldn't even play him in the playoffs last year. He was horrible. So, no, I mean, I kind of see both lenses of the argument. I definitely agree with them. He's not able to anchor a defense. They don't have much perimeter defenders. Having Ayton as your backline defense is horrible. So I agree with the low motor too. I've seen plenty of film and footage on him where he just doesn't seem to be as engaged. But I definitely think he's a huge upgrade from Jackson Hayes. Dorian Finney-Smith, I kind of agree with you too. I don't think he's this like all-world defender. Yeah, he shot 41% for the three, but I can see what John's saying too. Like your only capable POA defender is gone. So now it's like it's gonna be Ayton's gonna really have to showcase some defensive versatility or whatever, and he just has not showcased that his entire career. So I'm kind of in the middle. I think they just are okay.
Now without DFS, you have to rely on Gabe Vincent and Jared
Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt to play roles, which just creates even bigger issues in the offense. And with them playing more
but they definitely
roles.
upgraded at center though.
I mean,
he's way better than Jackson.
For sure. I just think like you look at the landscape of the West, right, and you look at Houston. Okay, so like the Lakers are in the business of trying to win. Like at least be extremely competitive. You know what I'm saying? And if you look at it in that lens, I'm sorry. Like with the way Houston just made their moves, OKC's still hanging around. Denver just had a really good offseason. The Clippers are still hanging around. I'm not saying the Clippers are better, but like, dude, your best move was getting DeAndre Ayton and Jake LaRavia, which I know you love that number because I'm looking at it. It says 43% from the three-point line, but it also says 2.2 attempts.
Gotta make them.
That means you could have went a week of just
1 week and shoot that
just
to
1 for
30,
2,
or
1
it
for
could
2, 1 for
rise
2,
to
1 for 2, like
42.
And
because look, the year before
LeBron.
2024, he shot 5 attempts. Guess the number.
31%.
31%. I know his first 2 years of his career, he didn't shoot well.
Yeah, it's 34.
37%.
Yeah.
But could that not mean that he just improved his 3-point shot?
I mean, the year before it was 2 attempts, 34. So it really is like it's like
We're gonna see this year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like this year
how
would
good
be
of
the
a
year,
shooter
but
he
like
is.
I don't think he wasn't getting open looks in Memphis. I promise you they were leaving him open. I watched a
I would
ton.
argue it's just
Like I
too early to
promise you.
tell how good of a shooter he is. We'll find that out this
But I
season.
think he has other skills
Playing a
too.
very big role.
He's a connective player. He can dribble, drive, and attack closeouts.
Yes.
Like he does other positives.
He's a solid player.
I don't think LaRavia is just a catch and shoot player.
He's not that.
I think
He's actually far
I
from
I
that.
know he has
But
more
I think
things
the
to his game
Lakers
that are important.
I think the Lakers are gonna like put him in those positions where he has to be a catch and shoot player. Like how many times are you gonna take the ball out of LeBron, Luka, and AR's hands?
Never.
Most of the time, these are gonna be catch and shoot players, and you have to prepare
You're right.
for that.
He has to be good in those situations, but I also think that in this modern NBA, you need multiple players that can dribble,
Yes.
drive, and attack a defense, even if you're a catch and shoot player. So on closeouts, you need to be able to make that first step and get by your defender
Correct.
to create advantages for your teammates. And I think LaRavia can do that. So
I agree. I think that's his best trait for sure,
I
especially in
think
transition.
the Lakers got better. They
Okay.
finished third in the West this past year, so I kind of have a hard time putting them outside the top 6.
I mean, that means you got worse.
They were at third seed.
Yeah,
Listen,
it kinda
last
does mean
season,
you
You
got
got
worse.
worse.
and the
Yeah.
minutes that Dorian Finney-Smith played, the Lakers were a plus 17 point differential. In Brooklyn, it was plus
Sheesh.
15 and a half.
Makes you
Offensively,
wonder.
plus 9.3. Defensively, plus 7 or negative minus 7.8. Because defensively,
Sheesh. He
it's
was
the better you are, obviously the lower
Okay.
because trying to get stopped.
LeBron was a negative this past year for the Lakers when he played on the court. Were the Lakers better when DFS was on and LeBron off?
I can check that.
Or are they better? No, I'm asking you without looking at the numbers. Are they better when DFS is on the court and LeBron is off? Are they better with LeBron off the court?
Talk. Answer him too.
No, but
They're
if
not.
you find the right lineup with Luka, it could be better with a certain lineup and allegation. Maybe
I think
LeBron was off.
sometimes those numbers it's not the end all be all.
Of course.
LeBron was a negative for the Lakers all year long. I don't think they were worse when he was on the court. And I don't think DFS. Listen, I think he made a solid impact. I really do.
41% from 3, man.
I don't think that
Points
like
per
plus 17 will
100.
put
That's
him
pretty crazy.
plus
That's
se-
99th percentile.
plus-
That's pretty
plus
extreme.
17 would put him near the top of the league.
DFS is a
99th
high impact player.
percentile.
I don't think his
99th
impact is
percentile.
near
Really
the
role
top
player.
of the league.
Nah, DFS is a high impact player. Though.
Having an above
I think
average
he
defender,
impacts
a
the
very
game.
good shooter off Luka.
He's
is
far
critical.
more impactful at this stage of his career than both the dudes you like that just went to
This
the
just
Lakers.
feels
By
like
far.
It feels like the 2023 Mavericks in terms of the supporting cast not being able to compliment Luka well enough.
They can't compliment him or LeBron. I'll be honest.
What
like,
do you use for that?
what you
Cleaning
putting
the
out?
glass?
Yes.
So do you just use the sample size for the Nets this year and then the Lakers this year?
Nets is plus 15.5.
Oh,
Lakers
shit.
is plus
Okay.
7.
What about the other seasons?
I can check.
Can you check for me, please? Let's see if that was an anomaly, please. I want to know.
No, DFS was
Watch
impactful
him,
for
watch him
Dallas.
play. He's someone that can play in any lineup. He never have to worry.
I
about
know,
it.
I
It's
know.
we can
He's a
slot him
plug-in
in.
player.
It's someone we can count on to close games.
He was a good
That's
three-point
one less
shooter last year,
player
too.
You can count on to close games.
Last time I checked,
41%.
whenever we talk about Luka and him taking the Mavericks to the conference finals in 2022, we all are like marvel at him doing it with the wings that he had in Bullock and DFS. Like
Well,
so
DFS was the best of those guys.
I know, but DFS, I'm not saying he's not good. He's a good player. But why are we acting like he is like one of the most impactful players and the Lakers losing him is somehow it's a doom sentence?
I think it just.
I don't think so.
Even Lakers fans were upset that they lost DFS.
Yes, because that's the best perimeter defender.
It's also like, bro, that was the one lone guy outside of LeBron where you can say we can confidently put him on the floor and he can play both sides. He can be a spot-up three-point shooter, and on top of that, he can play high-level defense. You can't do that with Vando because Vando is an amazing defender, amazing rebounder. What the fuck can he do on offense? Nothing. Gabe Vincent, too small. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like these Rui defensively has his issues. Offensively, solid. Like there's just this team is just. I don't think they got better. Like I don't think they are like. I really don't think they got better. I genuinely think Deandre Ayton was an upgrade. I'm not going to disagree with you. Me and you vocally talked about Hayes last year. The brother was not a starting center. He's probably,
I know,
he was worse than backups, like legitimately, but that's what they had to do. So Ayton is an upgrade. But Ayton, Laravia, I feel like this team is they still have holes on the defensive side. I feel like in the West, you're going to need to play defense, and I don't think they're going to be able to do that.
So what are his numbers impact wise?
He's been a positive every year, but 2020.
No, I know. I'm sure that he's a positive.
Oh, what's the number?
It's just a number.
2024 plus 0.3, so split
We're not counting that.
Barely.
Yeah, we're not counting
And the
that.
season before, that 2023 net team, right as Kevin Durant's getting moved, that was like a negative 0.3. Splitting hairs, 50th percentile.
So cancel both of those out.
Basically dead even those years. The years before is plus 1.4, plus 2.5, plus 6.
So it's
plus 6 is moving,
and then plus 5
plus
in
6 is
2020.
nice.
So for every year of his career, he's been always 50th percentile or higher.
I think Dorian Finney-Smith is a good player. The plus 15, plus 17 thing, I think it's a bit of an anomaly.
He had his best shooting season, so that's going to play
He
into
did.
it.
I mean, he did.
Just a very valuable role player the Lakers lost.
I know he is, but I think
someone that you can count on. You don't know what you're getting
adding a starting center is just so huge. I think you guys are overlooking it.
No, adding a starting caliber center that can anchor a defense is really huge. It's extremely huge. That's why Dallas went and got 2.
Yep, and that's how they went from.
That's why Houston went to go get 1, and then they have the 2 that can rebound. That's why the Clippers went to go get a backup that can do that. You love DeAndre Ayton because you love offense. Oh, Luka's gonna make him look great. Cool. But at the same time, what is he going to do on that other end? Because that other end, I'd argue...
He's a solid defender.
I'd argue... See, being a solid one-on-one defender is cool, but for a big man, what is more important is anchoring the defense. And that is the most important thing for a center. And if you cannot do that in this league, it's going to be extremely hard.
Even Rudy Gobert can't anchor a defense in a playoffs if there's no personnel there.
What are you saying?
Even Rudy Gobert...
I'm not even talking. We didn't even get to the playoffs.
Yeah, if he can, what the hell makes the games do that shit?
Just what I'm saying. Even one of the greatest defensive centers of all time can't anchor a defense when there's clear vulnerabilities on the team.
Rudy Gobert anchored the defense for 80 games. I'm talking about right now the 80 games.
I'm not expecting.
Because 16 games, I already know he's not going to do it.
Here's the thing. I'm not expecting DeAndre Ayton to anchor a defense.
And that's
I'm not.
The problem.
But he is a solid defender. Like he can play defense.
Okay.
And it's better than any option that we're going to have.
Yeah, he can play defense.
I think that right now, Nick Claxton and him as defenders is not that far off. Claxton was really bad
and
last
nobody
year.
wants Claxton.
Well, that was the other option for them.
Well, yeah, you're not wrong.
So that's what I think it's an upgrade. Like now the Lakers have to make moves to fill out the personnel. Like now Austin Reeves becomes a trade chip. Hey, Pelicans, do you want Reeves? Maybe we can get Herb Jones. Maybe you guys talk a little bit. Maybe the Pelicans, let's fill up the salary and let me give you 2 first-round picks to go get Herb Jones. Because if the Lakers could get a lockdown defender like that, I think it changes this conversation. I don't think that Ayton is the end-all be-all. I think they need to complete their roster. Yeah. But I think finding a center was very important to their offseason.
Brother, they wasn't doing shit up until Ayton got bought out, bro.
If they get a top 3 perimeter defender in the sport, they might be all right defensively.